Imagine you show up in front of a customer, you have a proposal, you have a conversation on a communication channel like Zoom, and say, hey, based on all of this, why don't you progress the opportunity for us? It'll automatically look at it, analyze that information, uh, add next steps on what you should be doing on the deal, along with making updates. And you don't need to go into the CRM again to make those updates then, right? All of that is pretty seamless with this experience.
And so what you'll see a lot of times is that partners will establish new organizations, like they'll come up with new ops teams or deal desk teams to kind of manage the decision making around all of this work.
Mhm.
And with the agentic experience, especially with these funding recommenders and the sales plays that Lahoti is describing, you can actually just put that power directly into the hands of your sales reps. And so if they're on a customer call, for example, and they want to know, hey, is AWS going to give me any funding? Can I accelerate some of this conversation knowing about these incentives? They can do that directly in their workflow.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Inside Partnering. Hey, I'm so excited to be joined by my friends from AWS, Jessica, Rudy, and Abhisheikh Lahoti, also known as Lahoti. Hey guys, welcome.
Thanks for having us, Chip.
Hey, Chip, nice to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. It's great to see you guys. It's been a busy week for you. You've had the summit this week and some big announcements. And man, I'm just really excited to dive in and hear about some of the things. I know you presented quite a bit about some of the new agentic capabilities that are part of Partner Central. So really excited to hear about that. First of all, a quick introduction. Jessica is a partner experience leader at AWS. And Jessica, you're doing a lot of things, always bringing partners on board and getting everybody enabled and excited and doing a lot of things. You're definitely out there. We had a great conversation. Gosh, it was reInvent. Maybe it was not last year, so a year and a half
Yeah,
ago.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and same with you, Lahoti. You also had you on the podcast as well. And Abhisheikh Lahoti. Lahoti is director of AWS Marketplace and Partner Services. So you guys are the right people to be talking to about this.
I sure hope so. So, yeah, Chip, you mentioned the summit this week. That was Global Partner Summit, which is an annual summit event where we bring in partners from, as you might imagine, across the globe to have really close and intimate conversations and build out a lot of strategic partnership areas. But this is also a really wonderful place for us to share announcements and progress about what AWS is really investing in and working on to make that partnership scale even faster. And so that's why it was pretty wonderful. Lodi and I got to stand on stage and have a deep dive breakout session where we shared a little bit more about Partner Central agents, which was one of the bigger launch announcements at this event. Lahoti, do you want to tell them a little bit more about the agents that your team built?
Yeah, thanks, Chip, for the opportunity. Right? The Global Partner Summit. I'm just very energized by just the reaction of what we launched. I've been in this space for almost 10 years now, and partners always want faster ways to collaborate with AWS, faster ways to close deals with us. But like if you're working across organization boundaries, like in different companies, fragmented data, siloed expertise, just the manual coordination to kind of start working on the same page on a given deal slows things down, right? So we announced like AWS Partner Central agents to solve this problem. That's powered by Amazon Bedrock Agent Core. Like we eat our own dog food.
Of course it is.
And yeah, I can, in a nutshell, there are three big things which partners are getting out of this. It's expertise on demand. Uh, Partners get guidance when they need. Imagine sales plays, customer pipeline insights, funding recommendations. Imagine you getting recommendations on when AWS will give you incentives, right? Next step intelligence when they need it in the place they need it, right? And this entire coordination just happens not only on Partner Central, but we have also released the AWS MCP server for Partner Central. All of this capability will be where you want it, right? If you're working in cloud, you're working in your CRMs, your Slack or Teams communication channels, you can hook up with the AWS MCP. And I know partners have done this in hours and now are able to leverage this, right? Yeah, it's like personalization at scale.
Lahoti's not
So
teasing about the hours, by the way. We had one partner who found out about the MCPs on their way to GPS and set up their agentic tool on the plane. It has been a light lift. If you know what you're doing, you're able to move pretty quickly with this stuff.
that's terrific. Really exciting. I think everybody's trying to figure all these things out. There's so many things are happening. It's happening so quickly. And there's so many capabilities that are launched all the time. It's really exciting that you guys have AWS has really, taken the engineering resources to build this for partners. That's really exciting. And Lahoti, I think some of the challenges that you described, I think that's very real, right? It's hard for partners to figure out exactly how to connect with the right field teams, with the right sales engineers, whoever the technical experience has the technical experience to help solve a problem. And from what you're describing, that's really what you're helping to solve. And the funding thing is terrific as well. That's always there's so many funding. Where's the money going to come from? So
Like if you ask me, hey, which funding a program applies to, like what deal construct, I may be able to give you like 6 or 7 answers, but I know there are like 45 different programs and different incentives, right? Just the number of services we have and specializations we have, it can get really hard if you're not close to this. And that's why we want to put these expertise. It's the best use case for agents, right? I mean, like there's just infinite intelligence which we can add to this and make it available to people when they need it and where they need it.
But I think the other advantage of that, Chip, is that for years our partners have been telling us, oh, the funding programs are so complex, I don't know what to do when. And how do we balance that? We want it to be really simple, but at the same time, we don't want to stop finding opportunities to fund a new strategic engagement or figure out unique opportunities in the market. And as you said, this place changes all the time. So we're finally at a stage now where with these new capabilities, we're able to still deliver that simplicity while constantly having that sort of Amazonian constant invention, constant evolution going on in the background. So it removes some of that overhead and coordination tax for us as well.
that's terrific. I think that is a big help for the partner teams because I think they're always looking for ways to connect to the right folks and the right opportunities to help fund different engagements or programs. But I think the other thing that's interesting is this sort of concept of all organization connections. Tell me a little bit more about that. So it's because I think some of the challenges that the partner teams can get very connected with AWS, but in order for co-sell to really work well, you got to get farther, right? You got to get into the sales teams, support like everywhere. So talk a little bit about how that works.
Absolutely. I think what you're hinting at is what we're referring to as whole org activation, because everything you're describing about how an alliance team functions with AWS, we see this a lot where one set of people at a partner become kind of the AWS experts, and then they are expected to cascade that information to every member of their team. And so, folks have done broad enablement sessions and come up with new mechanisms within their organization for how to spread this information. But still, that's sort of kind of a bottleneck approach to things where it's like, okay, I can give you a general enablement on the MAP program or on the CEI program. But when it comes down to it, people need the information at the moment that they need it, right? And so expecting everybody to absorb all of this and then apply it in their day-to-day jobs is a little untenable. And so what you'll see a lot of times is that partners will establish new organizations, like they'll come up with new ops teams or deal desk teams to kind of manage the decision making around all of this work. And with the agentic experience, especially with these funding recommenders and the sales plays that Lahoti is describing, you can actually just put that power directly into the hands of your sales reps. And so if they're on a customer call, for example, and they want to know, hey, is AWS going to give me any funding? Can I accelerate some of this conversation knowing about these incentives? They can do that directly in their workflow. But of course, this assumes that the partner then really looks at how they're set up and makes sure that these capabilities are delivered to the hands of the people who can use them in that moment.
That's pretty cool. That's really transformative, I think. It really is changing the way that partners and the whole organization can work with AWS as a partner. So talk a little bit about we've talked about funding, talk a little bit about managing opportunities and opportunity progression. You're really helping both the partner and AWS see where opportunities are, but you tell me, because I'm trying to describe it.
If you really think about what we're doing in pipeline intelligence and in opportunity progression, the key focus for us is like deal velocity. We are like generating a sales play on a given opportunity, and includes a lot of context. Think like a full customer profile with industry context and strategic priorities for that customer. A tailored co-sell strategy with AWS. It has ready to use like prospecting tools, things like, hey, what kind of questions will the customer have? What kind of objections will the customer have on this deal? And how would you address those concerns?
Mm-hmm.
And like other customer evidence around the deal. So you're actually showing up in front of customers in a much better prepared fashion versus like taking 2 weeks working with say an AWS rep to kind of come up with the same information. Now this is possible in minutes, right? So you're showing up better in front of customers with all of this information, and you don't just stop there. Like like you imagine you show up in front of a customer, you have a proposal, you have a conversation on a communication channel like Zoom. You just need to kind of upload that recording back and say, hey, based on all of this, why don't you progress the opportunity for us? It'll automatically look at it, analyze that information, uh, add next steps on what you should be doing on the deal, along with making updates. And you don't need to go into the CRM again to make those updates then, right? All of that is pretty seamless with this experience.
So that's terrific. So it's making recommendations based on all of that context, right? Like sort of where where the deal is in what stage the deal is at. It's consuming like how the conversation went, and then what are the challenges? What are the customers looking for? Where are their potential blockers? Like all of those things get pulled in together, and then it makes recommendations based on that.
Yeah.
Am I reading that right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and because in a B2B transaction, you have different phases of a deal, right? You are actually validating the business use case and understanding if uh, the combination of, say, the partner solution and AWS services is going to address the customer use case or not. And then once you say, hey, it makes sense, you will then add technical validation to that, hey, and then look at pricing dimensions to say, hey, what is the TCO impact of this deal? So all of those insights, uh, we're trying to aggregate that and present that at the right stage to the deal and to the partner, so they're more equipped in having these conversations.
I also read that it, in a way, has the knowledge of solution architects and engineers incorporated in there as well, and it can help make recommendations based on all of that in captured knowledge. Is that right? Did I hear
Well,
that right?
now you're hinting at our roadmap, Chip. But I'm glad you brought it up because there's a couple of things associated with that I wanted to call out because we're really excited about everything that launched this week. And I think we've actually seen a bunch of adoption already. I think Lahoti, I heard something like 80 partners in the past few days have picked up and started using this. And it's pretty impressive, especially considering you need to have migrated to the new Partner Central experience on the console in order to pick that up. So we're seeing a lot of good traction out of the gate. But what you were describing is the expansion of agentic capabilities that you can expect to see from Lahoti's team throughout the year. And so specialist knowledge is definitely one of the things that we're excited to deliver because again, if you have a complex technical question on a customer call, I would love to see that just progress in that moment instead of having to find the right person at AWS who has the right knowledge associated both with that customer and with the specific solution you're delivering. So that's just one of the items on the roadmap. Lahoti, anything else that you wanted to tell the audience about?
Yeah. Before we jump to the roadmap, like I just got updated stats. I was just looking that
Oh,
up.
yeah.
I asked my quick suit assistant what the adoption was. It's like in 24 hours, it's about 377 partners and across 1,600 deals, right? And now imagine like all of that would have been like almost like a 2 week engagement with folks. Otherwise, yeah. Coming back to your question on the roadmap, if I look at what we've done with deals is in the flow of that deal, right? We want to move more upstream and in top of funnel, where we are looking at things like account planning and driving top of funnel campaigns at
Mm,
scale through agents is one focus area for us. Uh, it would include things like building business outcome focused solutions, case studies, first call decks, and campaigns, which partners can then run on their own. And if there are leads associated with that, like we are going to generate personalized sales play per lead based on what we know about that lead as well as what the right pitch to that lead is. So that's what I call our ability for partners to expand customer reach in a self-serve fashion. So there's going to be a lot of agents around that. Uh, we will also add agents to upskill themselves. What I mean by upskill, maybe upskill is the wrong word. It's like technology is changing so fast that you need to add more specializations to your portfolio. A lot of partners have adopted like the AI specialization we rolled out at reInvent last year. So how do we make that easy for them through accelerated validation agents of saying, hey, this partner is good at this new capability which is launching and in the market. Things are launching every week nowadays, right? Uh, and and uh, and the last thing which we are trying to accelerate is migrations. Migrations is still like our migrations and modernization is still our number one focus area within AWS. And how can we eliminate a lot of the overhead in qualifying migration acceleration deals
mm,
uh, and reduce that time to days where we know your assessment through your assessment report, what your inventory is, what you're trying to migrate, and make that process of deal qualification very easy on migrations. So this is like in a nutshell some of the roadmap on partner central agents for the rest of the year.
I want to underscore too, everything Claudia's talking about, we got a pretty nice reaction from our partners at Global Partner Summit, but those of course represent really established and mature partnerships. A lot of these capabilities are going to be absolute game changers for people that are earlier on their partner journey.
mm,
So imagine what it would be like to sign up for Partner Central now with an agent that can guide you through all the onboarding steps, give you this valuable customer information out of the gate. It used to take a lot longer for you to get established as an AWS partner. Maybe you'd
yeah.
have some hand holding from a partner development representative. Now we're really trying to accelerate that time to activation so that partners see value at pretty much as soon as they set up their profile and then start seeing the exchange that they can get from AWS, why there's a value in this partnering, just right out of the gate before they even have a phone call with anybody here.
That's terrific. And I think also, again, for newer partners, getting connected to the right people within AWS as well. That's a big challenge. A lot of times, more established partners, they already have the relationships. They can pick up the phone or send an email. But for a new partner, that really is an accelerator.
I'm excited to see the outcome of that.
Yeah. Let's see. I think, Lahoti, you can actually give us a little bit of a demo here as well. I'd love to see how it works and maybe show it in action.
Yeah, would love to do that. Yeah.
Terrific. I just brought it up on the screen, so
Yeah, let me just quickly play. This is a pre-recorded uh, demo, which is live.
Dive deeper into opportunity specifics by asking targeted questions to the Partner Central agents. The agent chat window is your go-to place to ask questions about this customer, funding, this opportunity, and your pipeline. Ask the agent about the status of an opportunity. Use these key takeaways to help you decide what's best to do on the opportunity. Ask about other opportunities in your pipeline.
Prioritizing
Dive
deals
deeper
is
into
like a big
opportunity
challenge,
specifics.
right?
yeah.
Review the pipeline level insights to help you prioritize what is most urgent. Have the agent
So
prep
if you see
sales
the
plays for
sales play, you
meetings.
have like this is opportunity specific prospecting. What is the validation scope, success criteria,
Wow, that's great.
the the validation roadmap of how you should be validating services. You see the contacts of AWS as well in the section 4. Uh, and then the most important thing is like talking points for this meeting, right?
Talking points.
Yeah.
Nice.
Review the tailored messaging to prepare for your meeting. Ask the agent about co-sell funding for
And
opportunities.
here's that funding agent in action. But even if you see the previous, you see why it would be worthwhile to share some of that previous customer conversation and all of that additional context. It really
Right.
makes the agent a lot smarter.
Review the funding options available and then decide which to move forward with. Prompt the agent when ready to have it pre-fill the application.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Pre-fill the application. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah. And you won't believe this. One of the partners have dedicated folks just to do that. And I think just imagine the power of giving time back to higher value activities to these partners so that they can just then talk about, hey, how's the market moving in terms of AI assessments for their customers, so they can focus on customer outcomes and not just partnering with us. Right?
That's amazing. That is really cool. Wow. Jessica, what do partners need to do in order to go in this direction? You mentioned being on the new experience for Partner Central. What are there other things? How should they get started?
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that. So the Partner Central experience that I'm referring to on the console, we launched that at reInvent last year. I'm sure a lot of you saw our big push on social media, which included one of my team members in a very sparkly pink jacket, Jen Paterno, the the heart and soul of many of our AWS go-to-market motions. But so the move to the new Partner Central is actually something you can do either through self-service. It's a 3-step process. You link your existing Partner Central account to an AWS account, you provision IAM roles, and then you schedule your migration. You can do all of this from the Partner Central homepage today. Or if you actually want some support, you can find a number of partners on Marketplace who have actually created migration services. And these folks tend to be like our third-party integrator partners who have typically helped partners with strategic integrations and automations to make their partnering with AWS go a little bit more smoothly. They're also now helping partners make this move because they know that the partners can get the most out of the new agents. So you can get a little support if you're feeling not too confident about some of the choices you're making. That's just a step 1 easy requirement to move over. We are looking to get all partners over by September of this year. So I would highly encourage folks to prioritize that. And we have a ton of resources in Partner Central to kind of help you through that process. So that's step 1. But one of the other things that I have been helping promote is the idea that we really need to both look at our operating models within a partner organization and also think about how we strategically connect some of the tools that we're working with. Lahoti did mention already, like, oh, you can upload meeting transcripts and other pieces of key information. I encourage folks to really think about who are they trying to reach with these capabilities and where do those people live today and work today? Because that's where you want those things delivered. So we talk a lot about CRM integration at AWS. I think that is one option. But if you're really thinking transformatively, you're going to think about how your meetings platform or your communication platform, whether you're using Slack or something else, how are you gaining all of these insights from the context that your teams are working with every day and making sure that's making our agents smarter and more effective? So again, I want to kind of point folks to our third-party integrators. We do have a website, AWS Partner Automations, that highlights all of the folks that can help you through this process. The different players are in the field and they offer different solutions. Some are services, some are platforms. I know, Chip, you worked in this space for a long time, so you could you could tell folks about this all day. But I want to really emphasize the fact that AWS is very heavily investing in these partners because we know that they are going to be the key to unlocking success for a much broader scope of our overall network. And we've also created new investments. So partners who are looking to integrate can seek investments from AWS. We offer $10,000 in credits for any net new CRM integration. We actually have offered that incentive for a while. And we're doing that in recognition of the fact that we know that this is an investment that a partner is making. And we know that sometimes it's kind of hard to make that case up into your C-suite as to why you would really want to do this level of automation. But I think now with these capabilities, it's hard to not prioritize this because you're really going to be missing out if every other partner that's working with us is getting these specialist insights, the express migration funding opportunities, all of the sales plays that are offered. It's a train that's moving really quickly. So I encourage partners to think about that investment sooner rather than later.
That's terrific. Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes a lot of sense that AWS is investing there because the power of what we're seeing here today is that you're working more closely together. The partners are working more closely together, that you're co-selling together and you're building joint business together. So it helps everybody out, right? It helps the partners, it helps AWS. Makes a lot of sense. It's awesome. Fantastic. So let's talk about, I know we touched on futures for later this year, but maybe we could dive into that a little bit more. What are some of the things, specialists, access to specialists, what are some of the other things that are still to come?
I think Lahoti did mention the specialization focus. So when you think about some of the technical validations that partners go through today, I have heard a lot of feedback from partners that getting some of these designations is a lot of effort. And so that will be streamlined through new agentic processes. But it's not just that it's an application process that we're automating. What I'm really excited about is the fact that these agentic experiences allow for this real-time feedback. So we can think a little bit less about some of our specialization and other technical validation programs as being some bar that a partner has to meet in order to get a badge. And instead think about that application process as actually an interactive learning process for the partner. I can upload my technical documentation, get real-time feedback, understand where I need to pay a little bit more attention, and then eventually get through that application to get all of the benefits that are associated with that designation. So I do think technical validation as this new agentic interactive experience is going to feel a lot different to partners.
Maybe. No, that's fantastic, Jessica. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll take this opportunity to actually talk through all the AWS Marketplace agents as well, which we're thinking of, right? AWS Marketplace is like a two-sided marketplace for AWS customers to buy software, services, data, bundled solutions all together at once and procure that through the marketplace, right? And throughout that life cycle, from the moment a customer wants to discover a partner solution, evaluate it, compare it with other partners, generate a pricing proposal, some of those capabilities exist today. So marketplace is available on agent mode where you can go and ask for, say, an ETL solution which will fit, say, the financial services industry or whichever industry you belong to, and try and understand what options do exist and compare them, and also generate what we call as an express private offer, and negotiating with the agent on what the pricing terms would be. And all of it's possible today, right? And we're going to build on top of that to add more agents throughout that life cycle.
Exciting. You guys are killing it.
Yeah. Jessica keeps joking that internally I have 100% adoption on things like Hero and agentic based development. So my team is getting faster. So we'll have a lot more of these interviews, Chip, through the year.
Well, Matt must be very happy. I'm sure he's because he loves being able to talk about new announcements and new things happening on LinkedIn, and he's prolific at it. So you're keeping him happy.
Yeah, while he continues to insist on the highest standards, I assure you.
Yeah, I mean, none of this is getting out of the door without a principal engineer looking at it and saying, "Hey, this looks good," or our security team saying, "This looks good," right? I think that's the balance we always need to strike of saying, if we're shipping something, we're confident of what it means, It's
Mm-hmm.
really transforming that experience for partners. Yeah, while the pace has increased, I think one stat I can look at is the number of CEF2s or Severity 2 tickets my team gets. That is actually on a downward trend. That means like the quality of software we're shipping is also improving
Wow.
significantly.
No hallucinations.
Uh, I mean, like with agents, at the end of the day, it's not like a true or false answer, right? It's not deterministic like software used to be,
Mm-hmm.
and it's moving to a place where I like to quote this that software development is moving towards like how other engineering disciplines are. Like if you were a civil engineer, like there are structural limits in terms of how you build a bridge, right? There are like variances of what is acceptable or not. And with agents, I think it's getting into that realm of engineering. And this is like my
That's
personal
interesting.
opinion. And yeah, I like to kind of describe it that way.
That's interesting. That's a great analogy. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you. Anything else that you'd like to touch on that we haven't covered?
No, just outside of the partner central agents, there are lots of announcements at GPS. It included updates to our channel partner programs. There are new business value realization initiatives which have launched, where like industry models are moving from time and material to outcome based proposals. So our programs are evolving to say, hey, how do we incentivize outcome based initiatives?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot happening with like agentic AI was the theme of Global Partner Summit. It's not a surprise, and how we are evolving our Gen AI SCAs, building out AI assessment, funding, and agentic process transformations. These are new initiatives so that our partners are well equipped to kind of drive that transformation with customers. So there's a lot happening beyond partner central agents in the ASP space or in the AWS partner space.
Absolutely. I think one of the really nice central themes for the keynote this year that Ruba delivered was the idea of convergence. And she used this metaphor of tectonic plates coming together. And when we think about how agents enable sort of things to come together in a way that don't require strict standardization, but instead can come together and become inventive and more than the sum of their parts, I think that's an underlying theme in a lot of the work that we're doing with AWS, especially in the partner space, because we know for years we've done better when we go to market together, when we think about this really effective collaboration between our businesses. And so, really, everything we're trying to do is allow that convergence to happen while also collecting all the key context that is required to make the most of that convergence. So partners will continue to see us invest in those different incentive programs. We're going to continue to help them grow in various ways through agentic guidance, through the different incentives that we offer. One of the bigger topics at GPS also was partner revenue measurement, or PRM, that most partners are aware of. And these telemetry capabilities are going to give us insight into partners' impact to customers and give the partners the same insight in ways that we've never been able to before. So I think we're moving toward a space where we're getting a lot more transparency in a way that can continue to
Mm.
evolve some of the automation and the ease of coordination that we're really trying to achieve to work
Yeah.
together as an
Yeah.
effective B2B.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
We think so. It's certainly keeping us busy,
That's
and just really encourage partners to keep an eye out on our blogs, on our social media, and in Partner Central for the latest updates. I know it's always a lot to sort of take in. Lucky for you, there's a partner assistant in Partner Central now, so it can help you keep up to date with some of those updates.
fantastic. Jessica Lahoti, thank you so much for joining. This has been fantastic and really informative, and I'm sure a lot of partners will just love to hear about this. And let's get the word out and get people. This September's coming up fast, right?
As are many and many other deadlines. But Chip, thank you so much for your help, not only for helping us get the word out, but for everything you're doing to keep the broader partner industry and partner community up to speed with things, because like you said, there's always a lot going on. And so this is a nice way for people to enjoy that in a new and interesting format.
I should
Fantastic.
have started with this, but I love your setup. I love the guitars. And the inside partnering branding just behind you. So awesome.
That's fantastic. Thank you guys. And thank you all for joining another episode of Inside Partnering. And we will see you next time. In the meantime, make sure to like and share and subscribe for more interviews. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chip.